welcome to another episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about something I know everyone associates with me, and that is fashion, right, Beck? Is that fashion?
I mean, honestly, more and more so these days. I wouldn't say it's been your signature.
I'm wearing the marine layer shirt.
Yeah.
Am I? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you are.
I mean, I've been wearing it for a day and a half, but
I was going to say,
the marine layer
work
shirt,
out in that yesterday?
Yeah, that you and Allie, there were 4 people, I think, picked this out for me.
Mm-hmm.
So does that count as fashion?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's certainly an upgraded look for you.
Exactly.
From like free T-shirts. So there we go.
Comic-Cons. We're going to be talking about fashion with Caitlin Decker of Decker Fashion. And if you've been on my Instagram lately, deckershop.com or deckershop.la, because oddly enough, I'm obsessed with an actual fashion line because it's amazing and cozy and good for the environment. So many good things. But Caitlin's here, and she's already a member of the Friday Night Movie family. But before that, we got to catch up a little bit. Lily's going to be here later. This is going to be a really interesting episode because in a rare occasion where I am the one who screwed up the schedule between time zones, and it's Mom's birthday today. Mom doesn't know this yet, by the way, right? Because she's
Oh man, this afternoon is going to be so much fun. We
have the 3 kids. In addition to having bought her an Apple Watch for her birthday, which was mostly because I nearly lost my mind the other day when I could not find her for an entire day. And I decided we need to LoJack our mother, and we bought her an Apple Watch.
No. Like, it's true. I spent the next day with her after that, or a couple days later, and we spend the whole day together, and she comes home and she looks at her phone. She goes, "Oh, I have 37 new messages." I'm like, that's not normal. That's not normal. People need to be able to reach you.
The end of that day, I went in my phone. She said, "I didn't get any messages from you." And I read her the times. Mom, 7 a.m., 7:45 a.m., 9 a.m., 11:30, 12. And I just kept reading. She's, you're getting very agitated. I know I'm agitated, Mom.
Solution. Apple Watch. No, wait, but in addition to the Apple Watch, what are we doing with her this afternoon? That's going to be wild.
So we've organized a birthday Zoom with her, with a few close family members, and a couple of very close friends. And we have hired an illusionist and mentalist. A mentalist and illusionist. He's both, I think. Anyways, but a mentalist. That's what Becky
We're most excited for.
Becky Googled mentalist in Philadelphia. And
we found him, and he's available.
And his name is Matthias.
Matthias, the Zoom mentalist. So it's going to be a wild afternoon.
And he's trilingual, Spanish, English, and Portuguese.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. But he's going to do part of the show in Spanish for Mom.
Oh, that'll be really fun.
Very excited.
That'll be really
texting
fun.
Me all morning. He asked for a picture of Mom.
So he could start studying her mentally. He can mentalize her.
Yeah, he's going to mentalize her. So that's happening. But the other thing that happened this week was I got $100 ticket.
But let me ask you before you, how much would you? I mean, let me ask our listeners. Think to yourself, how much would you be willing to pay to pee if you had to pee really, really badly? What is that worth to you? To me, that's worth $100. If I have to really, really pee, I will pay $100 to be able to pee, which is exactly what I did. I made Chai break some traffic laws so he could pull over so I could pee, and now I owe him $100.
That is true. We were driving back from Baltimore Comic-Con. The Baltimore Comic-Con stories just don't stop. And we were at the part of the highway between really close to the city in Washington, D.C., where there's no rest stops at that point. Then you're just sort of driving off into random parts of the city. And we drove up to a gas station, which, unless...
It had lots of bulletproof glass, but no restrooms
unless Becky was going to buy a big gulp soda and pee in the corner.
Yeah, that was going to be my only choice.
We drove across the street, and she peed in the Pepco Washington Electric, like the electric company.
I didn't realize we're going to get that detailed with the story,
the entrance of the drive-in of the plant. But we really had to drive really fast, and I saw the flash of the ticket. I assumed it would be $40, but it was $100. And to Becky's credit, she Venmoed me the other $60 on the spot when she saw the ticket.
Which I have to say, a lot of people listening right now can think of a time when they had to pee that badly, and they go, "Absolutely, I would pay $100 to pee right now." And you know what? I can tell you it was worth it, every penny.
And I think there's no better way to lead into a guest that is so not only artistically brilliant, but also conscious about our planet, and I would say emotionally aware and intelligent.
So let's transition from a really
childish
awful childish story about your sister peeing on the side of the road to a guest filled with grace and elegance.
Who's a world traveler,
sophistication,
a public health, a student, a master's in public health, or a bachelor's in public health. What did you study?
A master's, but also you clearly don't know how many times I've peed on the side of the road.
I guess if you've traveled the world doing public health, you've peed in a lot of places.
I've peed all kinds of places. I mean, we can just focus on that today if you'd rather. But,
so, welcome, Caitlin Decker.
Hi.
I'll tell a brief story about how I mentioned my Instagram, but here's the story of Caitlin Decker and how she made her way to this show and how we became buddies. Because I really feel like we are friends at this point. Like you've already some people come on the show and we've tricked them into being friends. Now I feel like you've come to the show already and we're friends.
Yeah.
My dear friend Galit Ishaik, who I've known since I was 13 years old, she is just a wonderful, amazing human and one of those people who just connects humans all the time. And on her Instagram, there was this beautiful picture of her in this magnificent multicolored flowing dress, and she had modeled for this company that was Decker, the Decker Shop or Decker Shop LA, but the Decker line, the Decker line of clothing. And I thought it was just such a beautiful line, beautiful clothing, and then I read about it, and I read all of the really amazing, thoughtful elements of what had gone into this. And at the same time, I was spending a lot of time with Becky because we were getting ready for Baltimore Comic-Con. And one thing you have to understand about Becky is that growing up, particularly in Montreal, in my 20s, when I was in college, Becky, we always called her the rich sister because unlike Lily and I, who first went to high school at the publicly subsidized, falling apart Jewish day school, Becky, because my grade kind of trashed the Jewish day school, Becky only went to the fancy private school. And
Montreal fancy private school. So
Montreal
let's take it with a grain of salt, please.
Fancy private school. This isn't like the where the Mighty Ducks went in Mighty Ducks 3. This is still Canadian fancy.
Deep cut.
But still, Becky had, and also just Becky's my fashion sister. Always dress changes, and her hair was always fabulous. And I remember when Allie, my wife, joined the family, she'd be like, "Oh God, it's very stressful going to events with your sister. She's so
well."
Montreal
Also, keep in mind
fabulous.
Montreal, Caitlin. I don't know if you've had the pleasure of traveling to Montreal, but Montreal people dress up there. You don't go to the. It doesn't matter if you're going to. Right.
Movie theaters.
It doesn't matter if you're going to the movies or the grocery store or out for cocktails. You dress well. You look good. You are.
It's so French.
It's absolutely.
And pull it together.
But here's the thing. My sister had 2 children and lived in Berkeley. So
things went downhill fast.
Yeah.
So I understand.
Every time I see her now, she looks like she's got
tried
two
really hard
mismatched.
today.
She's got two mismatched galoshes on, and she looks like she hasn't slept since 2000.
Covered in stains. I've been watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I see. Feels like I haven't slept in 2016.
This beautiful dress that embodies the values that my sister has on Galit, who. It has actually some similarities to Becky in terms of hair. Their complexion's a little bit different. And I see this. I said, this would be such a beautiful gift for my sister. And so I hopped on and I ordered what's the name of the dress?
The Lynn dress.
The Lynn dress, which is gorgeous. The more the cool colored one, the cool colored Lynn dress. And I was so excited. I ordered it, and as a gift for Becky. And I messaged Galit to tell her, and then I think we maybe messaged a little bit. I was so excited, and I delivered to Becky as a gift. And then in it, in addition to this dress, came a pair of socks that I have also taken many pictures of and wear many days in a row. The most comfortable tie-dyed pair of socks I've ever have, and like my favorite socks I've ever owned. And I just became infatuated with this. I just bought a dress for Allie. I bought the Lynn for Allie, right? The Lenore.
No, the
Lenore. The Lenore for Allie in yellow, and more socks. And so, and then I asked Galit, I said, I feel like I know Caitlin now because so we got to have Caitlin on the show. So, Caitlin, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. That's such a warm welcome. It's really fun to be here. I was telling you earlier, I've never been on a podcast. So this is my first, I'm assuming like a shot to stardom.
Yeah.
I mean, very famous and terrible after this.
So I've alluded to the story. You have a master's in public health.
I do.
And now you're creating this incredibly thoughtful brand of clothes. Please connect those dots for us.
It's not obvious. Yes. I like to say that I took the scenic route getting where I am. So in my 20s, I spent a lot of time traveling and sort of trying to find a place. It led me into public health. I've had all kinds of random jobs, from like fundraising. I was a sex ed teacher. I cooked in kitchens. I've done all kinds of weird stuff, but public health became something I really cared about, especially women's health. So I went to school in New York, and from there sort of jumped off into the world doing mostly like women's reproductive health education and things associated with that. And I loved it. I'm not sure I was very good at it because the work is astoundingly important. And I still care deeply about it. My brain does not work super well with like biostatistics, which is really something that you need for like successful program planning and evaluation, things like that. And so while I really, really cared about the work, a lot of it came to feel like homework. And I didn't want everything I did every day to feel like homework. And then I also sort of got burnt out in a couple other sort of personal areas and really wanted to change things. I found myself I lived in Cambodia for a long time, and I would like skip out on work and like go to the markets and like play with fabrics. And everywhere I went, I just wanted to, I just found fabric. Like I found whatever textiles were being made, and I was just so attracted to that. And it was always like the most fun thing for me. So when I was 32, I sort of had this like burn it all down moment, and I was really unhappy. And I decided that instead of trying to like squeeze in creative things, I wanted to just do creative things. So I quit my job and I took some summer courses in fashion in London, and I was the oldest person there by 10 years. That was like the first point where I started to feel like very, very old. When
only 32.
At 32, so that's my steady decline.
Which is so young to be like,
right now
in this world.
Right, I know. But I remember having like the same music taste as the instructors and not the students, and being like, somebody turned on Beyonce at one point, and a girl in the class was like, "That's my mom's favorite song," and I was like, "Oh God." But anyways, it was humbling and wonderful, and I loved it. And I really got into it, and I went back to Cambodia. I started making dresses for friends. I made wedding dresses for friends.
Whoa, that's no small feat.
No, but it was so fun. It was fun. I got to know tailors and people who are because I design, but sewing is not something I'm great at yet. And so I worked with a lot of local people doing the things that they were really good at. And that was really fun. And I decided I didn't want to like waste it. And so I did my first collection in Cambodia and then found it really difficult to scale because mass producing anything there at that time was really difficult if I wanted to do it in any sort of like ethical way for me. And I'm sure there are better ways to do it now. It wasn't really available to me then. And I hadn't lived near my family in a really long time. And so I moved back to LA, or I moved to LA for the first time, having been here for like a weekend once. And yeah, then I took a minute to sort of like regroup on life. I had to burn it all down again, just because that's what I do. Mm-hmm. And I sort of was piecing my life back together a bit. And again, found the thing I really loved was fashion. And so I spent the last few years putting together a line and designing. And I launched in 2019. And then I did Fashion Week in New York.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Really, how does one get to do Fashion Week in New York? What are the
Well, I don't know how other people do, but someone found my Instagram page and was like, "We're doing an ethical fashion show. Would you like to do that?" And I said, "Sure."
Go.
That's pretty amazing.
That's pretty awesome.
It was cool.
It's just like us at Comic-Con back.
There you go.
There you go.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Sort of. Could you? So I don't want to interrupt your story because I love hearing your whole origin story. But could you also tell us what makes a fashion line ethical? Like what makes what you're doing ethical? How are you different?
That's a very good question. Well, because I think it's actually really different for many lines. Like I even sort of struggle with a sort of sustainable fashion movement because for some people that means it's organic, and some people means that's they're produced in an ethical way that provides like safe working conditions and fair pay for workers, things like that. For me, it's using renewable and sustainable fabrics. So right now I use something called Cupro and linen. And Cupro is made from like cotton waste. So like the little shells that go around the fluffy cotton bit are like spun into cellulose and then woven together. And they make the fabric that you have.
Is that why the socks are so awesome?
No, those are just actually organic cotton.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
It's
so organic cotton too.
Yeah.
And the home collection is sort of new. Well, it's very new as of 2 days ago. But that I'm purchasing things that are wholesale and made by companies that I vet, and then I dye them and make them my own. So the home stuff is a little different, but yeah, so for me, it's that. It's also producing in Los Angeles. It's producing at places that I know have safe working conditions and fair pay, and that like don't hurt the people making it. Like I don't like the idea of anything that I make causing harm. Mm-hmm. And so even with the dyes and how I'm working now, like, you know, the amount of like water waste and things that I'm putting into the world is like about, you know, those like underbed storage tubs, the plastic ones. It's about that much water, you know, that gets tossed out. And so
not very much.
No,
it's very minimal. It's like,
right.
It's not like almond milk.
It is not like almond milk. Don't get me started on that.
I used to like almond milk. Turns out like lactose-free regular milk might be better than almond milk.
Yeah. I also don't like how it does that weird separation thing in coffee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it like curdles.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, so that's what it sort of means to me. And again, it's different.
One thing that really sets you apart, and I think this transcends fashion because I think it talks about things that really go into all of pop culture, because this really relates to body image, is your sizing. I've never seen anything like this, but your sizing is smallish, mediumish, and largish, right?
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, as a guy who has his own, I would say fluctuations is the best way to describe it. I find that so fantastic.
I can't tell you as a lady how stressful it is when I'm buying clothing, because so much of what I'm doing is online, and so much is online shopping. And you look at like a viewer size chart, and they're like, okay, well this size is 0 to 2, and this one is 2 to 4, and this is, and you're like, okay, so I have a very narrow margin. When am I getting my period? Because that will tell me how big I am on this day versus that day. And it's so stressful buying clothing, because then literally things only fit me certain days of the week or at certain times of day. It's very stressful. So it's really wonderful to see something where it's like, generally this will fit, and it also means like I tried on the dress. I love my dress that I have, and trying it on, of being like there's so many different ways to wear it, and that I don't have to look a very specific way to fit into your dress. That it.
But it looks nice.
I am
this
wearing
is not like a
this is not
like a one size fits all T-shirt.
No, that's the whole point.
You get at the amusement park. So what's the how do you
make
philosophy behind that? But also, everyone looks gorgeous in the clothes still.
Because there's all these ways to. Well, I don't know.
I'm not asking you, Becky.
I'm just saying it.
Are you, in addition to being a fake doctor, you're a fake fashion designer now
I
too?
know very nothing.
Listen, this is the fashion sister, so
I don't. I really should not.
Well, she's coming back now. She's coming back now.
I've turned into a hobo. I'm basically a hobo. The way I dress. I feel like that's. I'm going to shop more.
What led you to do that?
I shouldn't have said.
It was completely selfish and self-serving. I get really angry at sizes. In my closet, I have a 2 and a 12. Like, that's insane. Like, I have no idea what size I am most of the time.
Exactly.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what size I am.
And sizes change. There's triple zeros that exist, and I don't know what that means.
Yes.
Nothing. I don't know. So yes, there's a lot of, it's for me. It's for everybody, but it's also for me. I think sizing is pretty dark. I think at its best, it's confusing. At its worst, it's harmful. And so I was trying to do it this way because, everyone is roughly something. And so with the issues, it was just who's to say? Who's large, who's medium, who's small, whatever. And honestly, this range of sizes doesn't even begin to start on all kinds of different bodies. This is not enough sizing. I'm doing more with the next line, but it's still not enough. This doesn't encapsulate everybody.
It's a pretty good start. I'd say it's a good start, and it's showing your customers or your fans what direction you're pointing in.
Yeah. And that's the idea. Again, this is my first line, but the sizes are, again, I don't want, I don't want to create something that puts anybody in a box of any kind. I feel like clothes should be made to fit you. You shouldn't have to change your body to fit into clothes. And so, so all the pieces are made to be adjustable. With the dresses, you can sort of bring them up or down and in and out. The pants you can always tie in different ways. And so the idea is that you decide. And the clothes are made to go on whatever journey with you.
I love it. And I don't know. I love the way I felt in the dress. I felt like, I could wear this to a very fancy party, or I could wear it to brunch. This is just feels like it's me. I can do anything in this. Yeah, it's a great.
I'm so glad.
And I feel like this dress, because I've seen Becky in it, and she will take a nice picture at some point for you that will be grammable. We promise.
Great.
Is also going to help transition Becky a little bit out of her mismatched galoshes phase. So, I
mean, as someone who's also a newer-ish mom, having things that are comfortable, that's the first thing. Comfortable, and then the fun thing with the ice dyes is that, like, if you spill something on it, like, you kind of can tell.
It's very important to have things that can cover up a stain.
Yeah, it's just like part of the process. So,
or just like a yogurt smear. Someone like
yeah, I think yogurt looks great on these dresses. So yeah,
I went over the other morning to say, like, before work. Becky lives next door, right? So I went over to say good morning to all the kids. I left looking like I had been crapped on by an army of pigeons because Becky's daughter decided this kid, when I walk in sometimes, goes, "Don't touch me, Tio Shy." But this morning she decided I was going to get all the hugs and she was going to wipe all of the yogurt on me. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's where yogurt goes. Yeah.
All right. You were talking about journeys. Now let's talk about fashion as a way of taking people on a journey in the narrative of movies and TV, because this is a Friday Night Movie podcast and we love movies and TV. We know you love movies and TV. All right. What role does fashion play in telling a story? We did our last week's episode was on Dune. And for example, Dune, I thought the costumes in Dune were wild. I thought like that. They were really well done. We talked about it last week as well. There's lots of movies where the costumes are awesome, and sometimes they're like ridiculous. But beyond me saying the costumes looked awesome, I don't know what else to say about it. How does fashion help tell a story in a movie?
I also think the costumes were amazing in Dune.
Okay, cool.
So it was so fun to watch. And so for me, I think they're like, you're sort of like first line of communication. Like, especially in a movie, like you don't get the whole backstory on people. You don't know where they're from. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know what they care about. You're just introduced to this character. And so I feel like it's your first communication. It's like how they present themselves. Like in most cases, like people, you know, that character has chosen to wear XYZ. And I feel like you learn a lot about a person in a movie from like that first image of them. Like, I have many examples, but like
Luke Skywalker walking into Jabba's palace in his black, good, the bad, and the ugly kind of, I am no longer the baby Jedi outfit.
Yes. Right. Like that's what, like, I'm a grown up now. Like I'm in this scary outfit, so you know not to mess with me, kind of thing. But yeah, I do think it's communication. It's presenting yourself in a way that you want, where you want people to learn something from you. So I think that's helpful in movies. I think it starts there, and then obviously as the character develops, people develop. But yeah, I think it's sort of like your first insight into like what that person is all about.
That's really cool. I love that. All right. What are some of your favorites? I know there's some ways you're going to say how fashion has actually been in the story. We're going to get there, but because that is the most amazing thing that you opened my eyes to when we were chatting before the show a little while ago. But how has fashion been used well? What are some of your greatest hits of fashion communicating in a film?
Oh, okay. Favorite, like
for me, that scene, and Becky, you should chime in as well. This is really a question for everybody. For me, and everyone knows I'm a Luke Skywalker guy. I'm a Return of the Jedi guy. There's nothing more gratifying to me than Luke Skywalker walking into Jabba's palace, proving all of the people who have said that he's a whiner and all of those things wrong, that he's got it under control now. He has a plan. He's got the black hood. He's ready for action. He's got his green lightsaber. He is a Jedi now. There's that. Now they recently gave it to us on The Mandalorian as well. You see that black hood. You see the green lightsaber hilt. You see he's decked out, and everything's going to be chills on your spine. Everything's going to be okay when you see that silhouette.
Yeah. So
for me, that is a moment where the wardrobe is everything.
Yeah. Honestly, same level of cultural significance, but in my favorite movie, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Same level of drama.
I love that movie as a kid. I would watch that on repeat. I mean,
it holds up, man. It's good.
I'll say I love that movie so much that I ordered for my wife. We don't do Christmas, we're Jews, but I did. But what's his name? Coogan was selling signed dish-shaped Christmas ornaments that said "the dishes are done, man," and I ordered them for her for Hanukkah last year.
it's really funny.
That's amazing. Okay, well, I know what to put on my list. My friends know me well enough that I received a number of I'm right on top of that rose themed gifts in the last few weeks because my friends are lovely people. But yeah, when she's sort of, she goes from being this fun-loving teenager to business Christina Applegate.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. And it's you see her presenting herself that way. She goes in her mom's closet and makes it her own, and it's cool. I remember seeing it for the first time and being okay, I want to change my name to Sue Ellen. So that's awesome. And then also shoulder pads are powerful. And seeing that. So I think that was a big, I love seeing that.
My favorite, fashion, that transition moment we were talking about is, I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I brought up how I rewatched Sabrina with the original one with Audrey Hepburn a few weeks ago. It's truly one of my all-time favorites. The movie starts, she's this, sweet daughter of the chauffeur, and she's very simply, very plainly, she goes off to Paris for a couple of years and she comes back. And the first time you see her, she's waiting at the train station and she's just the epitome of Paris fashion chic with her, cropped little hair up and her black, I think she's wearing a black, skirt suit of some type, and she has her little doggy with her, and she's still the same sweet, lovely Sabrina that she was before she left, but now she's a woman. Now she has confidence. Now she has the sophistication, and she, and she can command whomever she wants, and it's a great moment. And then from there on out, I mean, the outfits that she wears, I know, the dress that she wears to the party, the beautiful dress with the back cape. I mean, I had pictures of that up on my wall as a teen. That to me is just just one of the most stunning things ever created. Which, little known fact, that dress went missing for decades and decades. It was thought to be lost. And after Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds died, they found that outfit in a trunk. I mean, so the lore goes on the internet. This is what I read on the internet. It's not like I was there, but I read on the internet that they then found that in a trunk, I believe in Debbie Reynolds' house. She had bought it.
Oh my gosh.
Right. That's Carrie Fisher's mom, right, Shai?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. They found that in it. She apparently had owned it, and it was just sitting in a trunk somewhere in her house. And then I think it went for auction. Wow. But it was all this, controversy for many years. What was the real color of it? Because the film's in black and white, and who really designed it, and all these things. And then it was discovered. That's what the internet said. Again, I'm not a historian.
Never lies.
I'm not a historian, so I don't know for sure. But
I've got a question about fashion in movies. So there are movies where the fashion, where the time period is somewhat ambiguous, where the fashion is somewhat, I would say, the way I can describe it is affected, and the movies that come to play are Tarantino movies, where in a movie like Pulp Fiction or Reservoir Dogs, it's taking place it's contemporary, but they're all dressed sort of like they're in the 70s in a way, or there's some sort of throwback even before that. There's this, or I guess steampunk kind of has an out of time feel to it as well. What's the message in those situations where there's a little bit of an anachronistic this is a really weird one, but Napoleon Dynamite, right?
Oh, no, I think that's such a great example of it. It supposedly takes place. It's taking
place now, but everyone's dressed like they're out of time. They're in the 80s, you know?
Well, or any Wes Anderson movie. You like don't. I mean, you look at Royal Tenenbaums. It took place when the movie was made, but everybody's dressed from a different era.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So what does that communicate?
I mean, I think probably just a timelessness. Like those movies still resonate. Like the fashion is still somewhat relevant. I guess you're not distracted. Well, I think it's affecting, but I don't know if it's like distracting. It doesn't take you out of it.
Right. It's world building in a way.
Yeah. It's sort of like it's sort of part of the narrative and not, like, I feel like whenever I see like technology in a movie from like even 10 years ago, I'm always like, oh my God, that was 2005 or whatever, and you can tell because someone's on like a BlackBerry or something. But with the fashion, I think it really, I feel like it like is like somewhat of a character. And like, again, it's just like communication. You're learning stuff about the people because of it.
And we all, by the way, now we are joined by Lily. This was my fault, as I mentioned before. I screwed up the time zone.
Hi, Lily.
And this is another question: is there one? I don't know if you want to talk trash, but is there a movie where you think the fashion is just like abominable, where it takes you out of the movie or it ruins it? Like not a movie that's like some low budget. Not a low budget, indie movie where we're kicking a movie that didn't have the budget to have a good fashion, or a movie where you're just like, why did they? What kind of choice was made there?
I don't want to. I don't like being a hater on anything, but
you don't have to be
I'm a but. I felt like the fashion in Bridgerton. I know people like. Were really, really into, along with some other things in Bridgerton. But I remember watching them like the first days after having a baby and like whatever, anything to distract me was great. But it was so much that like I would not listen to what was happening and just be like looking at like where the bust line was on the dresses. And I'm like, why is there a pineapple on there? Like, have they even seen a pineapple? Like there was a lot of things that like made it very confusing to me. I thought it was cool to look at, but I didn't understand why it was happening. So yeah, that would be my only knock. And again, like I shamelessly like Bridgerton was fun.
No, I mean, like, we watched it. Lily and I definitely watched it. Yeah.
But absolutely. That took me out of it a bit. I had to go back into it. Yeah.
I had 3 minutes of that show, and I was like, "Nope, gonna watch wrestling."
Not yours. Okay.
No. Don't worry. I
like the fashion on WWF wrestling more. Okay, so here's a question. Here's a question, or not a question. This is really This is your theme. That I pretend this is my question, but it's not my question. This is an idea that Caitlin came up with, which is movies where fashion or a makeover or a fashion change moves the story. It isn't just a character, it moves the story. Tell us a little bit about that whole concept, because when I asked you, said, "Oh, let's talk about fashion," I thought we were going to talking about like Baz Luhrmann and movies with like outlandish costumes, and you took it.
I think like I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, and it's not a movie, but it's very pertinent in pop culture. Is Sex and the City?
Nope. I mean, we haven't talked about anything like
where
that.
Fashion is fundamental to the show. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes it moves the story along when she couldn't afford her apartment and the whole premise that I assume you've seen Sex and the City. Maybe you haven't. Yeah. I assume, and so she can't afford her apartment because she buys too many shoes, and these are $1,000 shoes. And then she can no longer afford to live in her apartment. And that's when it's a big moment in the show when Charlotte says, "No, I'm not lending you money. Don't go and buy so many shoes."
Yeah, that was a good boundary. I feel like boundary setting wasn't really talked about in the early aughts, but like, yeah, that was good.
And so I think fashion has so much to do with that show and plays into the storyline. Like that's not the premise, but I think it moves the story significantly without,
Yeah. Well, when Carrie bought Berger that Prada shirt, and he lost his mind, and
right.
like it was
throughout the show.
Yeah.
And when what's her name? That's her real name in real life. Oh my God, I blanked on the redhead's name. Miranda, like Cynthia. I'm like, it's not, her name's Cynthia Nixon. When her water breaks and it ruins the Manolo Blahnik shoes, like these brand new, beautiful shoes she has of her date with Big, and then the water breaks on the shoes. It's constantly, I think it's used, I don't know if it's, Shai hates when people say the costumes are a whole character of a movie, but I'm not saying that, it's that far, but I think that, yes, you can't talk about that show without talking about fashion.
Well, if I could tie the fashion of Sex and the City for a moment back to Caitlin, to what you're doing now, I feel like in the time of Sex and the City, it's like this overload of stuff. Every scene has to be a new outfit. Every time I leave my house, I need a new outfit. I need so much clothing. And it's just like, I mean, like the effect that I feel like it had culturally versus now, the sustainable approach of, I don't need 10,000 pieces of clothing. I could actually have a capsule closet, or I could just buy fewer things that are made sustainably that will cost me a little bit more money, but are going to be better for the planet, better for my closet. And I feel like there's
unfortunately
this like shift. I like very much a shift back.
Oh yeah, I think in real life,
around it.
I think in real life, it's amazing.
As a consumer of media and stuff,
and I think that the fact that the show is coming back, and the fact that it's coming back, I'm so happy that since it was on, that's how the direction things have moved. But nobody's watching that show to not watch what she's going to wear. So like,
same.
The times are not going to be reflected in that show, and that's fine with me. She can make it. She can wear a new. I don't have to wear a new outfit every day, but she can, and I want to see it.
No,
on the show.
also want to see it. Yeah,
it's like a museum. It's like going to a gallery every episode, like every scene. So
kind of is.
So in that sense,
I don't think the original. I don't remember. I could be wrong, but I don't think the original costume designer is coming back. But like,
I don't think so either.
I don't think so. But and she was a near genius. But but yeah, the clothes on that show. I won't say the character thing, but like it's impossible to like. You're right. Like it's impossible to talk about that show, which was like, a little problematic now sometimes.
Sure.
It was, but like going back, it was revolutionary. There was these like new narratives. It was a new way of talking about, both sex and cities. And it was, I think I'm selfishly glad it's coming back.
Everyone is.
Absolutely. And I think tie back to what Shai was saying is that I think that is a good example of marrying the two things. You have this amazing fashion, but every once in a while, it wasn't just a coincidence. It's not like their fashion didn't bleed into their lives. This mega fashion. Yeah. It moves the story along during the series, which I like. So,
Caitlin, you have some examples of fashion and stories and moving the story. What are some of the ones that you also have? So you mentioned don't Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Right. I love that. And I love
one of my favorite movies of all time. When I read that on your website, I was like, wow, there's very few people, I think, that could really feel the love of that movie. I've seen it so many times.
So many times. The movie just like feels good to me. And I've still never seen the Grunion Run, which I'm embarrassed by. But I think an easy one that I'm sure many people have seen is Clueless. Like seeing Ty Frazier come in and like Cher wanting to like maybe invade and like fix her, but which again may be problematic, but like just that whole change and like I think like using fashion as power in that way, and just like they change her hair and they put her into new clothes and all of that, and that's an amazing sequence. But seeing how like she goes from feeling very nervous to like newly powerful in this school and like in this new situation. And like she's 15 in the movie, and, you know, she's supposed to be sort of coming into herself. And like, I do think, I mean, I remember being 15 and like how rough that was. And so like, I do remember seeing her. I mean, we're roughly the same. It came out at more or less the right time for me. So I remember thinking like, okay, like I need the Delia's catalog, and like that's gonna make high school better for me. And like
maybe misleading. It might be misleading.
Yeah, it actually wasn't true. Like it didn't make high school better for me. But I remember being just, you know, just understanding that like it was a tool. So I think that was like a pretty powerful thing. I mean, I also remember like movies like High Fidelity and like Empire Records. I don't know how many times I've seen that either, but like the clothes in that were so like intentionally subversive, but also like you could probably get it at Hot Topic, like, you know, like, which is like owned by the man. So like, you know, like it's.
But isn't that's
exactly what being a teenager is?
I was going to say that's exactly what being a teenager is. Damn the man, but I have to buy all my
damn
stuff
the
at
man,
Hot
but
Topic.
I can't afford
but like
anything else.
Like yeah,
H&M now or whatever.
Yeah, right. I mean, I remember I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, and I remember there was one like punk club, and I was like 17 or something, and we were gonna go, and like I remember figuring out the outfit for that, because like I was not like, I remember I listened to like Garbage. Garbage music, but like the band Garbage.
The band.
Right? And like Alanis Morissette.
I just saw them in concert with Alanis. It was a great show.
I'm so jealous. Like
Weirdly,
I missed it here.
22 years earlier, when I had seen Alanis Morissette, it was with Garbage.
They go together.
It's a great matchup.
It's a great matchup. But like, I remember like wishing I was more like edgy. I was like, I've never been edgy. Like I want to be, but then it's like a lot of eyeliner and I can't do it. And, but yeah, like I remember like putting together this outfit to go to a punk show, which I like didn't belong at. And I like put a bunch of like safety pins in my clothes. I looked like, I don't know, like Gwen Stefani's weird cousin. Like it was not a good thing, but I remember seeing that and like pulling together that information from movies and music, and like it did make such an impression on me at that age, and now honestly, still like if I could be as cool as Shirley Manson, I would absolutely try to be, but I can't.
I wonder what, I mean, we're obviously relatively the same age, and I think that the movies that you mentioned, especially Clueless being such an impactful one, I wonder what that is for kids today. Like, I feel like, we all have little kids. And so, you know, I guess there's like this fog. Well, there'll be a fog for a few years. And so we're kind of, we don't have our finger on the pulse in some ways because we're in that. But I get a feeling that I don't know who's making those movies for teenagers now, or maybe that's not as important it was in the 90s.
They just have their TikToks now.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think that's correct. Like, I think it's like they're making them for themselves.
Right. They don't need, share to.
No, I mean, we all need share.
Share. I mean, yeah, I can't believe I just said that. Yeah. They should all watch Clueless.
I agree.
What's funny.
We relied on that, though. Sorry, we didn't have the social media and the TikTok and all those other sources. We relied on a movie showing us what was the next thing and what we could be inspired by. And in a way, that's kind of great. And it's also kind of amazing that now it can be your neighbor that does that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I always land on like, I'm not sure if this is good or bad. Like, it's new.
Right.
And like,
well, it could also be like a Kardashian.
Sure.
Oh,
I think that,
I think that that's like, and we don't have to get too into that topic, but I think that is a weird black hole of I think there's so much there that can be so positive, and you look at fashion icons and people in the industry and people in body positivity who are so supportive of them and so align themselves with them. And then you look at there's a whole other camp of people in that world that are completely against them, and selling all kinds of diet stuff, and the double-edged sword there, and the hypocrisy is very. I don't find it's an easy. They're bad, and from just
no.
I'm just saying from the difference between like a movie and a TV studio versus a Kardashian influencer on Instagram,
or someone who's getting, or not even just Kardashian, anyone who's getting paid $100,000 to hawk you a legging. Then there's it's not the same exact like maybe purity as in other forms.
There's just another thing that they've got to watch. I don't know.
Right. And I do feel like it's harder to know like what is like a genuine expression. Like, I mean, probably because of my age and what I grew up with, like, seeing movies, like that's somebody's art. Like I see that as like a bunch of people got together and like made this art. Like Fit Tea wasn't like sponsoring them, right? Like there's no advertiser behind Clueless. I mean, there was people making money off of it, obviously, but it wasn't like to sell a product.
Right. And the clothes weren't at all like many of the clothes are not accessible. It's taken to an extreme. It's nothing that anybody would maybe really ever wear at high school, but there's a beauty in that.
They did shop at Contempo Casual,
I guess,
which was a thing. Yeah,
that was a thing. I don't.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that was a thing.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it
a real thing?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Yep. As a member of the Friday Night Movie family, you must join us in an official Friday Night Movie game, and we are bringing you to the classic, the most important, the foundational Friday Night Movie game, and that is Buy, Rent, Meh. We will present you with 3 items. Buy, Rent, Meh is the official rating system of Friday Night Movie. So movies are either a buy. In the days of video cassettes, you would buy the ones you liked. You'd rent from the video store the ones that you were either intrigued by and weren't sure if you wanted to buy, or you just sort of like, that's a renter. And then meh is really an undefined category. It's not necessarily the bottom, but you got to explain what your meh means, because it could be a meh of disgust, it could be a meh of indifference, it could be a meh of is not sure. It could be a lot of different things. And then, and in this case, you're going to have to assign a value, and you can only assign one of each to each of these things. So the first category, oh man, I need a costumes or characters movie. I didn't finish this one. Allie was no help to me earlier. Lily, Moulin Rouge, Cats, and give me a third one.
Costumes. Oh, our characters?
Yeah.
Let's see if Caitlin has one, but I feel like any Audrey Hepburn movie.
Okay, fine.
Her clothes are amazing. Wait. I don't know if that counts. If Breakfast at Tiffany specifically counts.
That's the only one I can.
Hold on.
Always with Richard Dreyfuss, because that was her last movie. Those are the 2 Audrey Hepburn movies that I think of.
Jeez, Shy. Just disparaging her career
Roman
there.
Holiday.
Sabrina?
Maybe, I love her dress in Sabrina. Maybe just because I love her clothes. Maybe that's not a good example. Just her clothes are amazing. But,
Dangerous Liaisons?
No. Oh, there's so many where the costumes are phenomenal.
I just need one so we can play
Okay, give me
game.
a second.
Oh my goodness, everyone's
so start with a different category.
All right, fine. We'll come back to that one. All right. Buy, Rent, Meh, 90s fashion icons. Movies where I feel like the fashion in those movies, people walked out the next day and bought those clothes and wore them, having grown up in that time. Yeah. All right, so Buy, Rent, Meh, Reality Bites. After that movie, everyone came to school singing My Sharona, trying to date Ethan Hawke, which was very bad for the Ben Stiller likes, like myself, and wearing flannel shirts. Clueless, for obvious reasons, which we've discussed, and Empire Records, which we've discussed. So we try to make these as hard as possible.
Man. Oh, Oh, you did a good job making this as hard as possible.
We try to make it hard. It's no fun if it's not hard. So buy, rent, and meh. Now you should know just how we play this. Becky and I will play by the rules, and Lily will cheat every time.
This one's so easy for me. I don't have a problem playing by the rules. Obviously, Clueless, hands down. There's just no debate. I buy that for so many reasons every day of the week. Then personally, I would say I'm going to rent Empire Records because personally, that like the wardrobe situation in that movie was very impactful. And then I'm going to go Reality Bites. I can't believe that sentence is coming out of my mouth because that's just not humanly possible.
I feel like you
but for
unintentionally came
costumes,
over to the dark side with me.
no, I love that movie, but there's nothing I found when he's like, you look like a doily. And she gets dressed up to go with Ben Stiller. That's one of the best lines ever because he's being so awful to her, which is terrible. Just terrible example of how you should treat someone. You look like a doily. But I'm also like, she, didn't really dress like herself. She did look a bit ridiculous. And Ben Stiller's gigantic blazer. I mean, these are not fashion choices I needed to copy.
But the fashion in that
I would
movie
say her haircut, that Winona Ryder pixie haircut, which I would say Caitlin is doing a wonderful homage to with your awesome haircut. I would say like that it was more impactful to me personally, was the hair design. And Ethan Hawke's hair is just, Ben Stiller's hair is so bad. I would say hair in that movie is more important to me than the clothes. That's just my 2 cents. That's where I stand.
Okay, Caitlin, where are you on this?
It's hard. You did a good job making it hard. I'm going to agree with Lily. Like, I would almost say not. I was considering not buying Clueless because I already have Clueless. Like,
but because you bought it. It's because you bought it.
Because I bought it. It's like in my body. Like, I've seen it so many times. Like, I don't know if I need to buy it because I just have it. So actually, I'm going to controversial stance. Clueless because I don't need it because I already have it. And then I would buy Empire Records, and I would rent Reality Bites as well. I think it's funny you bring up Winona Ryder because her hair throughout the years has been like very important.
Very important.
Like, I feel like there's other things about Winona Ryder.
Bad.
It's never been bad.
It's always amazing.
Like, I've had many a hairstyle, and she's usually the photo that I take in, and it's often from like the mid 90s. Yeah,
that's 100% fair.
That's amazing. Yeah. Beck, do you want to weigh in on Reality Bites, Empire Records, and Clueless for your buy, rent, meh?
I'm buying Reality Bites because that realistically, more than the 90s grunge-ish look is what I've looked like the last few years, less it looks like you're really not taking care of yourself because you're not. So I've had like a serious Reality Bites. Like, no, but that is my favorite movie. And that's my favorite movie. Lelena is a hero of mine. Then I'm going to rent, and this is just based on the fashion, right? We're just doing the fashion.
Yes.
Then I'm going to rent Empire Records because I feel like realistically as a teen, that was probably more attainable of how to dress. And then I'd have to man Clueless because there was no way I could have ever looked like that or dressed like, that was amazing. And so it was wonderful and exciting to look at, but that really felt like a movie to me. Like, there was no way me or any of my friends were ever going to look like the people in Clueless.
Yeah, so. I mean, I'm gonna buy Clue. Well, so I movie wise, I have buy Clueless, but the only person I could remotely even dress like in that movie or want to dress like would be
Brick and
Blood. No, not Breckenmeyer.
What? 100% shy. All you wore were flannels.
He's so great.
Well, I guess maybe.
Definitely would have looked like if there.
Yeah, because Paul Rudd was like wearing black T-shirts and black jeans. He was like a intense.
You were the look of Reality Bites. That's more of like what people in reality like. Reality Bites is what we actually looked like. Empire Records is what we thought we could dress like, and Clueless, it was just completely out of range.
Okay, that's all right. I'm with you. All right, okay. Lily, have you thought of a movie for the first one yet?
I think we could put Willy Wonka in there.
Okay, that's a great idea.
The original or the new
not
one?
the Tim Burton.
But-
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Movies where the costumes are characters. Although any Tim Burton movie would probably work too. Moulin Rouge, Cats the movie, like the recent one, which I don't know if I've told you this, Caitlin, right? That I fiercely defend this movie. I love this movie. I'm not talking about the fashion. Now
we need another podcast about that.
No, don't worry.
No, he has several.
multiple
We have several. And he's got other people's podcasts to defend the movie.
I go on Twitter and find people who are looking for people to defend this on their podcast, and I'm like, I will do it, and you will regret it, because you're going to end up with the longest episode of your podcast
3
ever.
hours of White Cats is the greatest
These
movie.
poor guys on all their podcasts. I love these guys so much.
excited.
They had Becky and I on, and I think they were like, oh my God.
I think after an hour and a half, I was like, I'm done. I have nothing else to say on this topic.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I recognize there are crazy, wrong things about the movie, but I love it. And I will talk about it for hours. So, yeah. Moulin Rouge, Cats. Tom Hooper's Cats. And the Willy Wonka, the one from the 80s? Is it the
Right.
70s?
Yeah.
The Gene Wilder one.
Gene Wilder one. Yeah.
Buy or enter back.
By Willy Wonka. Because I don't know. I feel like I can see what every single character is wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Veruca Salt's red.
Everything. Veruca Salt, the cowboy kid, like all the grandparents,
Violet.
like Violet.
You're turning violet. How many times have I said that? I mean, and Willy himself, Mr. Wonka.
Willy himself, I think there's
the hat.
a genius about like a one-day movie, right? Like you can see the characters are established. You just see their characters and like how the colors all work together and stuff. So I would buy Willy Wonka. I
mean, everybody knows what an Oompa Loompa wears.
Right.
The costumes are so iconic.
Yes. I feel, they're really, I don't feel like, it's like people throw around the word iconic when it doesn't work, and it works here, right? Like that is like Willy Wonka is like a building block for other crazy fashion, which I like. I would now rent Cats because I've not seen it and I've never heard anyone defend it.
You might regret this decision.
But I want to know now. Like I haven't been.
I think there's fundamental problems with the costumes in this movie.
Well, are they costumes or is it just computers what's happening?
It's a very legitimate question.
There's a bit of a trap because if you listen to my take on the film, my biggest thing I would remake of the film is I would have dispensed with any of the CG stuff, and I would have gone. I would have gone all in on building the best practical effects cast costumes ever, like done like the 80s ones, but the best ever. And I would have filmed the dancing and stuff instead of some totally weird stuff. Instead of that, I would have taken advantage of the fact that you have in what's her name, Francesca Hayward, and some of the other Broadway dancers, you're some of like the best performers alive. And they should have filmed it like a martial arts movie where people do their own stunts, because there's some scenes where you do see her dance, and you're watching her dance, and you're looking at this, and you're saying, how can a human body do this? And she's actually doing it. And if they had really leaned into that, it would have been
even better.
Even better.
I mean, it was the first or one of the first musicals I saw.
It was the first musical we saw, right?
And I remember seeing it.
We saw as kids.
My parents took me to Les Mis when I was like 4, so that was the right time for that.
Yeah, definitely.
I totally understood it, and I just wanted to be
not
like an
over
orphan.
your head or.
No. I mean, I remember I sang like "Castle on a Cloud," like haunted the house for like years. But
elementary school was in it, right? The Cat Kaufman was in it.
Yeah, he was.
Touring company.
That's cool. Well,
I
So, but I remember seeing Cats with my elementary school best friend Teresa Tamarchio, and her family, and it was so exciting. And I love the music, and I can probably still sing Magical Mr. Mistopheles. So I'll rent that.
I think in person, the costume, especially in the 80s, especially if you were a kid,
Amazing.
you really believed they were cats. Like
Totally.
It was amazing.
My wife's sister believed it so much, she had an asthma attack when they went to see it, and they had to leave the theater. So my wife
suggested asthma.
My wife hadn't seen the full thing
so cute.
until she married me. She had no idea how much I liked it until after our kids were born, and now she's like, "What the hell?" She's seen
because you were like, I have kids with this woman. Now she can't leave me.
Yeah.
So
Right,
now
right.
I'll
She's
tell her the
locked in.
truth. She's
Yeah.
locked in. I will tell her the truth.
Yeah, it's safe now. And then I would have to Moulin Rouge. I've never seen the whole Moulin Rouge.
me neither.
People really love it. Really love it, and it makes me kind of seasick. Like I think it's not for me. Like I get that it's like beautiful, but all the angles and all the stuff, it's too much. It's too much.
There's a lot. There is a lot happening visually.
There's a lot happening, and I don't know. It was just not. It wasn't for me. And people I have offended many at parties, being like, but meh is actually it for me. I don't know if I'm going to get like kicked out of Los Angeles now, but oh well.
I think you're probably
you're not
safe.
saying
It's not like
what
you
it is
didn't
as
say.
quality. You're just saying your reaction to it. It's your opinion.
Right.
I mean,
I'm sure it is
It's
like
not
a
like
better,
you pan Strictly Ballroom, right?
I would never.
Okay, so
Oh,
that's
Talk
wait.
about costumes.
I forgot about Strictly
Talk
Ballroom.
about
Well, all of the
Start
costumes in his
over.
all the costumes in his
Yeah,
movies
but
are.
there's something special about that because it's
Yeah.
I don't know if it's his first film, but it's certainly a very early film.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
So there's something very
We could
special about
have a whole separate
Oh,
thing
yeah.
about.
Oh,
God, I
wow.
can't believe I forgot about that. Yeah.
We talk about transformative costume moments.
right.
The dress, when she puts the dress on
the
at the
red
end
dress.
for that final performance.
good.
Wow.
So good.
Sorry, that's a great one to show your kids.
That's a really fun
Oh,
one.
That's
you
a
kids
really
watch his
wonderful
movies?
movie.
All right.
Sure, kids can
Yeah,
100% watch that
All right.
movie.
Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann's William Shakespeare's Romeo plus Juliet isn't for kids, so
No,
No.
But Strictly Ballroom, definitely they can
Strictly
watch
Ballroom, we were probably
that age.
around that
Moms.
age. It was 92 when it came out. We were about
Yeah.
their age.
okay.
So would have been exactly that age when we saw it.
All right, I'll
Was
hunt it down.
It's a great one.
Okay.
That's
Come on.
I'm gonna
New steps.
New steps.
I'm gonna skip I'm gonna skip Marvel, and I'm gonna jump to this one requires visual aids. So I'm gonna jump to this is a little bit for my sisters because our whole family has a thing for Henry Cavill. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
we really do.
really.
We all
He's
Really
earned it
do.
though. Like I was not
Yeah.
on board during the Superman days.
We really.
He has
I'm
earned
willing
it.
to even go watch the Superman movies just because he's in them.
No, he's
Not
well
worth it.
cast, but they are unwatchable. They're so
But he's
depressing.
extremely watchable.
Right. So Henry
No, I did draw a
Cavill
line.
Henry
It's the
Cavill
buns.
And his voice. I love his voice.
Henry
I don't know.
Cavill's fashion, though. We agree we love Henry Cavill. Fashion.
Okay.
We have Henry Cavill as Superman.
Hmm.
I already know who my bias.
I don't know why you're bothering with this.
Uh,
Why are you bothering?
as
The
the
Witcher.
There's literally only.
Do you
one
know,
buy.
Caitlin? Wait, do you know that there's a story that we have had, like a U.S. Weekly source, like a source confirmed to us that on the set,
Wait, a source. What do you mean? They know someone we know? No one told us.
it's like on U.S. Weekly when they say a source confirmed. So I don't have to say who and where this source
You don't
came
have to
from.
say who. No, you don't.
A source confirmed that on the set.
That's not a first-hand source. It's like
So it doesn't matter. It's a source of a source.
It's a U.S.
source.
Weekly source. It's a U.S.
Exactly.
Weekly.
Those U.S. You think those U.S. Weekly sources are one removed from the people? It's like someone who did the garden of the
By the
neighbor
way,
next door.
That's such a Canadian Montreal. I found an Us Weekly in an orthodontist office thing to say and call it a U.S. Weekly because that's what everyone calls it in Montreal.
Oh, is it?
I think it's
Oh, yeah.
no, but I like it your way. I like
U.S.
it your way.
Weekly. Did I say U.S.
I
Weekly?
found it in Dr. Israelovich's office.
No.
That the Carrie
I think it's ambiguous. I've
heard it both ways.
both.
I've heard it both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that on the set of The Witcher, which was that like very dirty, quite impressive outfit he's wearing,
Yeah.
his thighs split his pants.
Because his
Not
thighs
his
are
bottom.
so
but his
strong and so
thighs
big that they split the pants.
at the seams, says the source.
Says the source.
Okay, and then we've got a movie that I like. We like, but he's very dapper in this. It's his 3-piece suit look.
Ooh.
And one of our buddies of the show who we love, Mike Roberts. It's one of his favorite movies. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and that's his dapper British look.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my visual aid here. So Henry Cavill, fashion, the Superman, that sleek armory look, because that's a specific suit. The Witcher and the Man from U.N.C.L.E. Now, Caitlin, I don't know if you've seen any of these.
I've seen none of them, but I feel like I have all the information that I need.
Evaluate. Go ahead.
So I already have my answer.
Okay, great.
I already have my answer. Okay, I'm going to...
What has been communicated to you about these? This is the best.
Oh, yeah, that's even better that you haven't seen them.
I haven't seen them. I don't know anything about... I mean, I kind of get what a Superman is.
Superman, I hope you know something about. Otherwise, I worry what childhood Tucson was like.
Ooh, that's another podcast. But I'm gonna mess Superman because I'll explain why. But mess Superman, I'm going to rent Man from U.N.C.L.E. because I love a 3-piece suit, and I'm gonna go buy forever on The Witcher because one, I think for all of these reasons is. I'm maybe not following the rules of the game, but I want to share clothes. And so
that's a great point.
Right.
I think that's a fantastic point.
The Superman suit, it's not practical.
Can't
no, the 3-piece suit. No, I'm not. But the 3-piece suit, I love a woman in a suit. I would be super into that. I steal my husband's clothes often. Very into
Diane Keaton. I mean, please.
Oh, right. Made a whole thing out of it. And then the Witcher outfit, I would wear.
I could see you in those leather pants.
Yeah, I would wear, and I may or may not have also split pants in my life. Yeah. So like, I feel like I can relate to Henry Cavill on that. But those
boots
and
the boots are really nice.
Great. No, but like if I walked into a room in that, people would be like, she is communicating something. And I would be.
Definitely.
But yeah, so those are my answers.
That is amazing. All right, Caitlin. Now we're rounding the bend on this epic show. Thank you so much. We come to the part of the show where we talk about things that we're watching, our shout outs and recs. We'll start with Lily, and then we'll do Becky, come to you, and then I'll close it out, and then we'll do our shout outs and handles and things. Lily,
so
what are you watching? What are you into?
Okay, so I still really into my glass blowing show on Netflix called Blown Away. I love it, and I highly recommend it. I'm not even embarrassed anymore. It's season 2, so it means somebody else watched the show.
Clearly. Clearly Netflix is canceling good things and keeping this on.
Because it's so good. And if you like art
Netflix,
I think if you're into art, you'll love this.
Said to Betty Gilpin and Allison Brie and Jackie Cohn,
they didn't cancel Glow.
Home. We don't want
you don't think that's what did it?
Groundbreaking show with
female wrestlers
characters with depth. But
because we need glass competition.
Toronto, keep going. God.
I really like that show. Then I started a show on HBO Max. I'm curious what you guys would think of it. It's called Made for Love. It's with the girl from Spring Break with Sandberg, Andy Sandberg, in the movie that's the time loop.
Palm Springs.
Palm Spring. That's
Oh, I
great.
like that.
Sorry.
Wow, that was a
Thank
real
you.
mom move right there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that was
The woman from
I love
Palm
that.
Springs is awesome.
Christina Milioti.
Yes. Something. Yes, I'll look it up.
Melody.
Thank you.
Melody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
She's awesome.
She's awesome.
And Magnuson, is that, I can't pronounce that guy's name. Magnuson.
I like how you pronounced it, so let's just
Thank
leave it
you.
This show is increasingly
he is,
hosted
was
by
he-
our mother.
Billy
Was he in
Magnuson.
US Weekly? Did you
Is he-
see? Did you?
You need to have somebody do voiceover, like to dub this part of the show, Shy, because of how many mistakes I've made.
Nope.
Billy Magnuson is so good,
Because we're real people here. If people want a
yeah.
podcast that's
accurate with real things, don't listen to
we
this.
tell them, go to the Take Two podcast. Those are great guys. They're from DC.
They get things right.
They get things accurate. They're a news podcast. Brian Stever, he crushes it. That's not us.
So, okay, do you remember in Aladdin, the new one with Will Smith? I'm not sure if you've seen that. The guy, the guy that tries to marry her from that other country, that blonde guy, that's Billy Magnuson.
Okay, I missed the new Aladdin.
Okay, it's
anything
actually
that happened
pretty
in the last
good.
2 years, I kind of missed. But yeah,
That one's actually pretty good. But he's in a bunch. He's in the show Get Shorty. He's in a bunch of stuff. He's a great actor. He's the villain in this. And I think the show, I like it, and I am curious to see where it's going. The concept is it's about like a Google, like a Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos kind of merged into one character, and he has, I think it's called Gogol or something. It's obviously very,
that's funny.
yeah. And he's got like the whole like Alexa thing, with the voice and the house and everything, all that thing. And his new product is a chip you put in your partner's brain, and it lets you be one and like read their thoughts and stuff like that, and like have this like the most intimate connection. But obviously that's very sinister. And so, so that's kind of, where it goes from there. She basically, the whole premise is that she's trying to escape him.
That's so cool.
It's cool. And it has a lot of like Ray Romano's character is great. He plays her dad. It's funny, but something that's about the whole point of it being like obviously very bad to women is having a bit of a hard time with how funny it is. So I'm curious to see where it goes. Then I started Succession, which I know is so famous. It's in its third season.
Cool.
So I finally started that, which is good. So far, it's great. I'm enjoying it. Like everybody said for a million years that it was amazing. And I do want to recommend Made on Netflix as well, because that was a really good show. It's like a one-off, but it's a bit intense. But I thought that was excellent. So those are mine.
All right, Becky Beck, what do you got?
I rewatched Dune because I really did love it so much that I saw it again a few days later.
Did you watch it full speed, or did you do like 1.5?
No, I watched it normal. And I've been stuck in my brain like an earworm, so I might go back and watch it a third time now, because I get really hooked into certain things. So that's been a big thing around here, and I've been watching. I've been catching up on What We Do in the Shadows because I'm in a really good rhythm with that one right now.
Is Mark Hamill in the season that you're watching?
Yeah, he. I haven't gotten to his episodes yet, but I'm pretty sure he's in season 2 of the show.
Tell me when
and
you
then
get
Chris
to those,
Shaw's going to be in it as well. Yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I don't have a ton to report.
All right, Beck,
on.
I know you have to run. Do you want to say your handle now quickly, and then you
can
at
Caper BK Princess. Caitlin, thank you for joining us. I had a lot of fun talking to you and meeting you, and hopefully I will meet you in person one day. And anyways, okay. Bye, guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye. See you later, Beck. Don't worry, the show's not over, people. Okay, so Caitlin, your recommendations.
My husband and I have been diving deep into Criterion Collection. He's super into
Criterion movie.
I love it. He's really into like noir stuff, and so we've been going back. I like sort of given my own free space. I usually choose something like lighter comedy, something like that. But I have really loved getting into these like old noirs, and so it's been a mix of like 80s Brian De Palma movies, and then like these sort of like trashy mid 90s sort of like sexy thrillers that I've realized I'm into. But the ones I'll actually recommend, well, things like Body Heat, like stuff like that. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So those have been sort of like
many of these movies I watched with Mom, by the way, Lily.
Yeah, I know.
I watch all these movies with Mom.
But the ones I'll actually recommend, we watched Born Yesterday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I had never heard of it or seen it before, but it was Judy Holliday actually won the Best Actress award. Hang on, I'm gonna look it up. And she got it in 19 something. And anyways, it was a
movie. This is like she must have got it in 1951.
I think that's right. Yeah. But she won the Academy Award for it. It's the funniest. It's such a funny movie, and she's in this like really unique character this whole time, and I feel like I don't laugh out loud too much at movies. I feel like I do in a theater, but I don't often like at home by myself. And I love this character so much. I was laughing the entire time. And
that's amazing.
She's amazing. And it's also like a cool sort of like modern story arc.
William Holden. He's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was awesome. I'd definitely recommend that. And then we actually just watched...
remade. I was like, wasn't Don Johnson in this movie?
Yeah, it was with Melanie Griffith.
This is the original one. And it's so cool.
John
and also,
Goodman.
I will say,
I was like, Melanie Griffith and Don Johnson are in a Criterion Collection movie.
Yeah, no, this is the one a little before. But good casting though, still. And then we just watched the original Nightmare Alley. So there's original. I know the like Bradley Cooper one is coming out in December, which is exciting.
It is.
But the original Nightmare Alley,
Kate Mara.
Yep.
And Lady Gaga.
And is
Lady Gaga?
No,
he's
only
I was like, wait, what?
Because of Star is Born. No, Star is Born because they're in it together. That's what
right. Yes. Fair enough.
Ignore him. Never mind. Keep going.
But no, that was really, really, really cool.
Cool.
It's super dark and interesting, and but also like beautifully shot.
Cool.
And because I'll always comment on it, like the clothes are cool, like, and like the clothes are a part of the storyline, and like it's cool. And they actually, I feel like in that time period, if like someone was bad, they didn't explain why they were bad. They were just like, it's a bad guy and a good guy. And with this one, it actually gives the like, he's like, I was an orphan and I was abused and all these things happened to me, and that's why I am the way I am.
Can I read quickly what the premise is, Shai? I think you really are going to need to see this movie. The rise and fall of Stanton Carlyle, a mentalist whose lies and deceit proved to be his downfall. Shai loves a mentalist.
Are you kidding? The mentalist that is coming to our mom's birthday party as a surprise.
In about 10 minutes.
No, he's on the Zoom. I just got a notification. He's waiting. He's mentalizing.
He's
13 working.
13 minutes early so he can mentally prepare for this.
I guess so.
I don't think he has enough. I don't think anybody could survive. I don't know if he'll survive an hour with his family.
He doesn't know what he's getting.
He has no idea.
Got himself into.
Yeah, you better hope he's doing some meditation. I just want to quickly recommend to you.
And he's like, "Have you done all the preparations?" And I'm like, "Buddy, nobody even knows you're coming.
Don't give me homework. I'm paying you. I don't want homework." But Caitlin, I have to just quickly say, you said you guys are into noir, and I think obviously a modern noir is LA Confidential. Everybody knows that's like obviously. Yeah. But there's a great one that I feel like not many people talk about, and it was before Robert Downey Jr. got his big, re-break as Iron Man. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is a fun sort of.
That's the best.
A while ago.
That's a good rewatch. I think that's a great recent noir that not a lot of people talk about, and it's before he blew up again.
It was
on his Renaissance.
I feel like it's sober Robert
Val
Downey
Kilmer?
Jr., but it's not comeback
Ooh.
Robert Downey Jr.
It's sober Robert. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just before Favreau gave him the golden ticket.
and it's
Got it.
and it's the last
second
Val
chance, I
Kilmer thing. I mean, I don't know if there's another great Val Kilmer thing.
I mean, I think he was in a few other things, but I think that's one of the last. Like that's a great movie.
Great rec. Yeah, I will. Put
And if
that
your
on.
husband, I don't know if your husband
Really
keep him,
into it.
Keep them coming,
Yeah.
Caitlin.
More things. Can I? Because I wrote down some other recommendations that are not movies. Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're the guest.
Because of all like the fabric stuff that I'm doing, I've become like really, really into fabric artists
Okay,
and like
cool.
textile artists and things that make
Ooh,
stuff. And
nice.
there's
Do you
a
have
woman-
links for these people? Because if you send them to me, I'll
I
put
will
them in
send
the
them,
show
yes.
notes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
That's even better.
My mom
I don't-
loves felt art.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she's a beautiful
yeah.
piece by a felt artist in her
awesome.
house.
My dad loves
there's-
soapstone sculptures too. If you know anyone who does that.
Fun fact. My dad is getting very into soapstone sculptures.
Well, it's a dad thing.
It's a dad thing.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like he randomly on a phone call the other week. He's like, you know what I like? And it's
Amazing.
also- I don't know. He wants to start doing it.
They're beautiful.
Anyways, there. But it's a fabric artist from New York named Caroline Kaufman, and she does this like specific type of. It sort of feels. It looks like a kind of like a rug, but
Oh, nice.
like the weaving is different, and there's lots of different like things that come out of it, and textures, and I think the colors are really, really cool and fun, and like that's something that's when I'm thinking about colors, which I'm often just thinking about colors.
I love the color and
I think about
in your
that.
pieces. The use
Okay.
of color. It's beautiful.
Yeah, but she's been really interesting to me. And like, I can spend hours just like looking through her stuff and like
And
figuring out which.
it looks like a rug, but is it hung as a
It's
piece of
hung,
art?
yeah. It's like
It reminds me
and-
a little bit, Lily, of Sarah Greenman's art.
Oh, I was just thinking that. I was
Yeah.
sorry. You read my mind.
Yeah,
you
here,
read my
I'm telling you
mind.
that it looks. It's more colorful, but it reminds me of Sarah's art.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Of like these living, almost kind of pieces on the wall.
I think she does prints too of like the designs that she does. But yeah, I've been really into her stuff recently. I think that's been really fun. And then I threw in a music one too, but Moses Sumney.
Okay.
Who, one of my
Moses Sumney, Becky's colleague from the sound company that she works at. I'm 99% sure my job was to track down a rare autographed record. I was in charge of finding something really special, and so I found a rare autographed 12-inch EP by him recently and got it as a gift for him.
So cool.
I know who he is.
Yeah, he's amazing. One of my much cooler friends took me to his concert a few weeks ago in LA, and it was
Cool.
one of the like best performers and best also amazing clothes. And yeah, just like an incredible artist. And I really love that. So it's like real moody. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Have you heard of? And sorry to interrupt, but have you heard of this company called Fab Brick from Paris?
Please tell me about it.
So they reuse textiles that would just
Ooh.
go into landfills to make bricks, to make artistic pieces out of furniture. But it's actually, it looks
cool.
like a brick, but I can also put in the link, but it actually is all made out of clothing, like fabric that would have been
How
discarded.
cool.
So like you could see, like, here's a table,
Oh my gosh.
but it's all
That's amazing.
And they're in Paris, And it seems like a very cool. They're called, like it says, architectural designer Fab Brick, but it's a very cool concept. And what's really ironic is that the crowdfunding thing that they have going on their Instagram is a company like that. Well, the company that's doing it is called Kiss Kiss Bang Bank Bank, which is just to tie it back.
There
That's
you go.
Hilarious. But I'll send you that because I think this is also a really cool, functional way to reuse textile.
Yeah. So, Lil, we are forming from our mother's birthday.
You got to go to your party.
I got to go to our mental
birthday to your mom.
So, Caitlin, is there anyone else you'd like to shout out with?
I think that's it.
All right, cool. Well, my recommendations quickly are Doogie Kamialoha MD on Disney Plus. We talked about Gender Swaps remakes a few weeks ago and when it serves the story and when it's not worth it. This is amazing. It is a remake of Doogie Howser with a young Hawaiian woman and her family, and the lead, Peyton Elizabeth Lee, and the woman who plays her mom, Kathleen Rose Perkins, crush it. We watched 2 back-to-back episodes with the girls.
Aww.
It is emotionally captivating and sweet and wonderful to watch with a family, and it has all of the heart that the original has, but it is totally updated, and it deals
awesome.
It's great. Like Disney Plus, sometimes I feel like they phone it in, but this is a higher quality show than Mighty Ducks Game Changers, and they even use the original theme music, but it's like in a Hawaiian music style. That is like my big rec for people who want to watch something with families. This is high quality. And the other one, I tip my hat to Josh, one of our regulars, because he sent us the trailer for the new Willow series, which is Warwick Davis just chatting with the young actors on the show, and I immediately started rewatching the original movie. That is officially the thing I am most excited for in pop culture. Caitlin, where can people follow you? I mean, I know by heart where people follow you, but where can people follow you?
The Instagram is Decker Shop LA, or as my friend calls it, Decker Shop Law, which is fun. And the website is just deckershop.com.
Amazing. Lily, where can people follow you?
Chichi, ChiChik Gomez on Twitter.
And you can follow me at pancake and the number 4 table on Instagram and Twitter, right? Yeah. And Friday Night Movie at Friday Night Movie on Twitter and Instagram. You can sign up for our email list. We promise no more than 1 email a month, which means likely a lot less, but we're going to be doing customized playlists. We're going to do some giveaways. We're going to do some other fun stuff. And just go to our website, and there's a little sign-up box. Sign up there. And in addition to that, in our show notes, you will hear all the cool things Caitlin talked about, as well as the organizations we are supporting. Our theme music will kick in right about now in post-production, and that is by What Does It Eat? Find out all the other stuff about the pod at FridayNightMoviePod.com. Rate us and review us where you get your podcasts. Thank you so much to our guests. Caitlin Decker, check out all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Deckershop.com and Deckershop LA on Instagram. We are fans, friends, and customers. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
And happy birthday, Mom. I'm going to your party now.